little better? Trying to, oh, good. When I first set up, I try to put it on the pre-screen and turn the sound off. So I push the button and whatnot. So, anyways. Oh, good morning, baby. How you doing? I've been up since about 3:30, 4 o'clock this morning. Figured I'd try to get a stream going for 7:30 on and go from there. Good evening. How you doing this fine day? Is your back bothering you, Christy? After sitting in the theater all that time? I'm going to need a napkin. Coffee. Mustache. Put the old ibuprofen to you. Take your heating pad to work with you today. I know you won't, but I'm going to tell you anyways. And this way here, it's documented too. Right on the screen here. I can bring it up anytime I want to. Breathing hasn't been the best today. Good morning, Alan. How we doing? How's the weather down in your neck of the woods there? I haven't got any notes in front of me, but I do believe it's either New Mexico or Arizona area. I'll probably be way off. '79. Wow. North Carolina. You know, I was saying that in the back of my head when I was saying that. I was saying, no, he's from North Carolina. He's from North Carolina. Yeah. We've got fog up here. I went out a little bit later than I normally do for the yard birds to feed and water because I couldn't see walking around. It was pretty foggy out there. I'm hoping it's going to burn off. I haven't looked at the weather report. I hardly ever look at the weather report because, well, they're the only people I know or the only job I know that you can be wrong, 90% of the time and still get paid and have no problem with it. Definitely not drone weather, is it, Alan? Out in that old fog. Yeah, I know what you mean. I've got some of the various different trees around here are doing the same thing, and we're only in February, and in end of February, And I've seen some cold snaps. In fact, we get a few days of fairly nice weather. But it's going to be freezing at night. And anytime you get below freezing, when those buds start swelling up and stuff, you can have quite a bit of damage. Ah, I'd be scared. I'd be scared of losing it. You need some fog lights on that thing that sits there and blinking. Oh. Get that glass of Dr. Pepper going yet, Christy? That's the one thing we don't have up around here. I shouldn't say that. There's a few places that grow a certain kind of peach. I'm not exactly what kind they are up around this way, but you don't see an awful lot of them. Ah. Oh. You working from home today? You have a lot of peaches, Alan? How many trees you got? Good morning, Kentucky. I lost my notes. Well, I have them. I just haven't have them on my desk. So I'll probably call you Kentucky, although I think it's Jason, isn't it? Correct me if I'm wrong. Get it right out of there, out of the way, and have Christy give you the frying pan, and you can slap me upside the head with it. Hit me on this side, though. I got hit a lot on this side, so, I want to say, I don't want to get lopsided. Ah. Yeah, okay. I wish there was a way to program in this when you're setting up a live stream that next to the names you can put a little prefix in there and between brackets or something and put the preferred address for somebody on for as far as naming goes and whatnot. That would be a lot helpful. I'll probably put Christy on that because she's very computer savvy. She could probably figure out how it's done. Actually, transplant. Wow. They weren't even broken up peach pits to grow. They just happened to start growing themselves. Signed on a nice big job last night. Ah, what kind of job is that, Jason? Good morning, Biddy Boo. And how big are they now, and how old are they, Alan, now? Ah. Very good. That's when they had in the olden days there. That's when they had great looking stairways and great front porches and stuff with pillars and overhangs and stuff. Nowadays, the front porch is no longer really. You got a deck out there and it's usually not covered. In the old days, you had front porches that were covered, and it was it was an extension to the house, really. And people would gather on the weekends or in the evenings or whatnot on people's porch. You've always visited somebody. Very seldom did you go in their house unless it was cold weather or late at night and there's too many bugs or something. It was always greeted on the porch. You sat out on the porch, and that's how you did your activities as far as visiting people. You don't see that anymore. Good morning, Four Hearts. Not bad, Biddy. It's a little foggy up here. My back was bothering me just a little bit this morning, and that's no problem. It usually is anyways, most mornings. So, hey, all in all, like I've said before, like George Burns George Burns is probably one of my favorite comedians, even, passed away quite a few years back there, but probably one of my favorite sayings he would say, he says, when somebody would ask him stuff like that, and he says, I got up this morning, went to the table, and opened up the paper, and looked up in the obituaries. I wasn't there, so I made a pot of coffee. So that's about how I'm feeling. I checked, and I made a pot of coffee, and now I'm drinking it. I bet you do, Jason. The trouble is with a lot of the open porches, excuse me, a lot of the open porches, a couple different problems with them. Most people didn't use very much pressure treated, and it's harder to use pressure treated wood alongside of some of the older stuff because you have the milling problems. It doesn't look the same and whatnot, but also those open porches held a lot of water and stuff, so they rotted out a lot faster. So, if they weren't enclosed or anything like that and just had a cover on them, you had blowing rains in there, and you would end up with, rotted porch boards and stairs, and you know how that goes. I myself have done the same thing, Jason. I used to be a general contractor years ago, and I did a lot of jobs with porches and decks and especially stairways, second-story stairways and stuff. A lot of people didn't want to take those on. Enclosed stairs, I should say. Most everything is open nowadays. Yeah. I'll bet you if they lasted that long, it was they were made out of like a southern pine or something like that, something with a lot of sapwood. Because I noticed southern yellow pine and a few other types of sapwood were used years ago, and it's pretty much a natural preservative. A little harder to work with. You've got to drill out, when you get the edges and stuff like that for nails and screws and stuff. But it had so much sap in it, the water just beat it right off in it. How's Biddy today? How's your morning starting off? Yeah, that's what I figured. Mostly yellow heart pine, yeah. It's hard to find up here. In fact, you can't hardly ever find it up here. Well, you can find yellow pine, but 90% of all your pressure-treated wood that's sold up around here in most places is made out of yellow pine. That's why the pressure-treated works so well in that. For what the chemicals don't do, Mother Nature does anyways. So, but I'm wondering if some of these big companies keep the yellow pine off the market, because once pressure-treated started coming in, you hardly saw any yellow pine deck boards or anything else, at least around here anyways. I'm not sure down your way, but you hardly have found anything around. They want you to buy all the chemical-laden, and they've taken a lot of the stuff, a lot of the arsenic and stuff out of the wood and stuff. I'm not against it totally, but when there was other woods around to use, a lot of them, like you say, would last 50, 60, 100 years or so. Spring cleaning. Don't. That's a dirty word around here. Don't say that. Spring cleaning. Oh, it hurts my ears. Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty that's a we have that up around here too and stuff. You don't use that on porches a lot, do you? Or do you use it on the old covered porches? The nice thing about, like, you get into places like Vermont, Maine, New Hampshire, in places like that, if you did have the old porches, they at least usually had an overhanging roof system on them, so it kept the majority of the weather on. And even some of the older ones instead of had railings, they almost had midway walls on the side, coming up about 36 inches, and usually was boarded over. So you got a minimal amount of weather on there. The trouble is with that type of porch and having it kind of enclosed like that, but yet open on the sides, when you did get rain and snow in there, if you didn't take care of it and get it out of there, especially if it was on a north facing or something like that, it was in there to stay for a while, especially in the wintertime. Yeah, that's that's what I figured it was on the covered porches. That's why I brought it up. Yeah, yeah, that's an expensive piece of board right there. The Western red cedar. I had a buddy of mine that I was doing a porch in a deck area one time years ago, and they were real picky, and specifically said they didn't want any pressure treated. And the eastern cedar around here, it's not too bad and stuff. But the nice thing about the redwood and the red cedars, especially both of them for decking, they lay flat. That's the thing I like. You get very little cupping with the decking boards and the floorboards with the red cedar and or even redwood. If you can find the redwood decking boards and stuff, or floorboards, very little cupping. Everything lays nice and flat. You don't have a lot of twisting and turning. We're sitting here talking building terms, and they don't. Oh, I don't know about Alan. He probably knows about various different building terms, but you got Biddy there, and Christy's in the background, and she's in. I guarantee you what's going through her head right now. She's like, yeah, he's got it on the building subject again. I could sit here and talk about building and various different projects forever. Don't blame me a bit, Kentucky. I've always built that way. Oh, the overbuilding down back, huh? Ah, yeah. Yeah, I haven't showed anything on the house this year here. This past summer, my son and daughter-in-law actually put an extension on the back. I didn't get involved with that. My back and legs are, I can't. It would take me forever to do a project like that, and of course they don't have the time to get that done. So we hired it out. I kept an eye on them. Let's put it that way, and they put I believe it was a 20 by 26 or 28 extension on the back side of the house. On the front side, front side. I'll have to get some video of that and whatnot. I started some video with the foundation going in and a little bit here and there and stuff. I'll get some video in that and throw some up, either in a video or maybe make a few slideshows together, throw it on the live feed. Hire the guy with the rusty truck. Yeah. The trouble is with most contractors, builders, plumbers, electricians, and all that type of thing. It's really funny because I'll even throw my son's trade is he's in heating and air conditioning and stuff, and a tech in that, and doing quite well in it. You go to their houses and stuff, and they're always the last house to get any job done, whether it be carpentry or whatever the job needs to be done. The contractor's house always usually doesn't have the work done yet. You know, he's out doing everybody else's and stuff, and the last thing he wants to do is come home and work on his own house. Is that the way it goes, Jason? All right, Alan. I'll see you in a bit. Hey, some of the watchers out there, hey, come on in. Grab yourself a cup of coffee. Make up a little toast and jam, or, oh, I don't know, a muffin or two or something. I know you're out there supporting the channel and for watch time and stuff, but hey, don't forget to stick your head in there every now and then and just say hi. I'll say a good, big old good morning to you anyways. And if you don't have sound on, we'll throw in a little bit of text here. All right, Biddy, you have a good little nap there. Get some sleep. Thank you for coming on, and thanks for the support there. Thank you, Christy. Is that donuts or bagels? It could even be my eyesight could be a pair of glasses or a couple eyes looking back at me. You too, Biddy. Yeah. Even my coops down back, I've still got, you know, I still had stuff when I was doing the addition to the old coop. I still had things on the old coop that I hadn't finished yet, and I've got still stuff not finished now. I've got moldings that still got to go up outside. You know, it's all finished on the inside, all weather tight. So anything on the outside, somebody was asking me that the other day when they saw the no trim on the windows and you could see the little space in behind. Well, I had it all finished off on the inside with sheathing, and I used just some pine strapping for molding on the inside to kind of tighten things up and whatnot. But so no weather could get in or not. But so I've got to get in there, and I've got to get some. I've got all the materials for it. I've just got to get it out. I like to paint it before I put it on there, get it in there, and get some of the corner boards up and some other various different things. Yeah, I understand. I'll tell you, it's a hard thing to do, Jason. A very hard thing to do. I get into projects, and then you know, the old saying goes that, you know, you're seeing squirrels. Yes. I guarantee you Christy's going to find a squirrel now and set it up on there next to the donuts, because she's always telling me this. You know, we'll be in a conversation or something, and I'll switch totally to something different, and she'll. But I see a lot of squirrels, let's put it that way, when I start building and stuff. I see another project, and the next day, all of a sudden, I'm over there doing something else. So I know exactly how that goes. I'm sure you do too, Jason. Chocolate donuts with sprinkles, yeah. That's what those are. Ah. Well, that's happened to all of us, Jason. You know, but, you know, usually Usually I dip right into different things that I maybe not all that well experienced with, and it's either either you do it and it comes out great, or you do it and it's a disaster, or if you're smart, which I'm not very smart, if it starts turning for the worst, you get some help. I have a hard time asking for the help, and there's not too many people around to throw you the life raft or the life ring to pull you in there. So sometimes you got to do what you got to do to get the job done, and well, sometimes you don't like the results and they don't look all that great, but hey, if the job gets done, it gets done. I'm picky in a lot of different ways like that, but one way or another, throw a little bit of paint and caulking over it, and the best things for painters and carpenters: wood putty, caulking, and paint. You take that away and we're all in trouble. How's the weather down there, Jason? Any more rain coming in? Keep an eye on that creek. I ought to get a little cue thing here so I can press a button to play music like when I talk about the creek there down there your way. I can press a button and throw a little parody in there like, how high's the water, Jason? Ah, so that creek must be still up. I've got to get in there and watch your last few videos here. I've had my emails are like backing up. Yeah, we have snow coming again. I think it was, what is today, Thursday? It might even be tonight and tomorrow or something like that. And like you say, we got the rain that you're talking about is supposed to be coming up the coast and hitting us again. But it could be freezing rain and snow coming our way. This time of year, you never know. 1 or 2 degrees makes a difference between snow and rain around here. The thing I don't like about snow, when you get heavy snow loads up around here, when it turns and it's right on that edge of the weather, snowing and raining. You get a lot of trees with heavy, wet snow on it, and you get a lot of power outages this time of year, and that's the thing I hate. Old Elvis song, yeah. Hey, I've got many Elvis MP3s in my hard drive. Cold Kentucky Rain, yeah. One of his better songs, actually. Walking in the cold Kentucky rain. She's a bottler. I'm going to ask you your name or what you want to be called one more time because I don't have my page with me. I seem to recall. I'm gonna take a while. I've been taking a while guess of everything. I've been pretty close. Maybe I shouldn't. Not a Sarah, is it? Krista. I had the on the end. Thank you for correcting me, Krista. I'll get it sooner or later. I'm terrible when it comes to names. I like to have a sheet of paper so when people come in, but I was going through it the other night there and trying to rewrite it so I could read it. It's pretty bad when you write stuff down and you have to rewrite it again so you can understand it. Good morning to you, Krista, anyways. How are you doing this morning? Talking about cooking, I was silicone queen, amongst other things, for 8 years in my last workplace. Ah. Oh, I read that wrong. I should have looked at a little closer. Talking about corking. Oh, we're talking about, oh, I see. Silicone queen. So you have no problem using a caulking gun then? Welcome back, Alan. Doing good. Okay, 12 p.m. here. Are you across the pond, she's a bottler, or Krista? I don't know. I can just hear in your title of your channel there, she's a bottler. I can just hear that Cockney accent of, you know, I can't do a Cockney accent, let's put it that way, but I can just hear that the word bottler in that type of thing. I can just hear that. That's why I was thinking that. Good morning, Steve. How's the weather down your neck of the woods there? See if I get this one right. Amarillo. Oh, thank you. I finally got it to the way I've been fooling with it, from the white background to the various different fonts. I've been fooling with it for 3 or 4 different streams now, and I think I've got it the way I like it. I don't know if you've taken and looked at the yesterday's live stream and looked at it after it was re-recorded and put back in, but I think it comes across pretty good. You can read it. You can at least follow the chat along a little bit, so I'm happy with it. I hope everybody else is happy with it, and I think I'm done fooling around with it. Sometimes I have a hard time in projects. I keep tweaking them and keep tweaking them. I think I'm going to leave this one alone because I've got it where I want it. How do you guys like your, you know, instead of having the various different colors and stuff, of course, monitors are blue, and my channel name comes up in yellow. All the supporters and subscribers used to come up in white with their name and stuff, and I thought it blended in with everybody else, so I put you guys all in a nice, I don't know what shade of red that is. It's kind of like a burnt red. I kind of put you in there, and I hope you guys are happy with that. Okay, worked in the building industry for many years, finished off all the wet areas, and did quality control. Aussie girl. Okay. Now I can still hear the bottler, the bottler in the Aussie accent there. So you guys happy with the red? Or I don't know what shade you call it, but I'm not a big red person, but I have to darken it up and put a little black in there to get that shade. Once you get to know me, you'll know there's a few colors I cannot take. One color is purple, another color is green, and believe it or not, and I get asked this a few times here and there, is orange. I'm not a big orange person, but here I am with an orange mug. I don't know what it is about this orange mug. I've had it for quite a while, and, well, until it breaks, I'll keep using it. Well, I don't know if I would go quite that far, Kentucky, about it's a great stream. I have fun with it, and I have fun talking with you guys, and I have a great bunch of supporters out there, and I appreciate each and every one of you. I'd like to get some. I'm trying to work on some other things to go on the channel, some slideshows and some various different things and stuff. Anytime you guys have any ideas at all about something to do in live stream or something like that, and you don't want to put it in chat, I think you all know how to do a PM message and whatnot. Throw it in a PM message, and I'll take a look at it. And if it's doable, you might see it on the stream sometime. I'm looking for all kinds of fresh ideas and various different things and stuff. So, hey, don't be bashful with your ideas. Oh, I gotta get a little closer. I gotta make my stream that pops up that I read a little bit bigger this morning. Yeah, I hear you there, Kentucky. I have a hard time discussing and whining, or most of those things are out of our control. And the one thing I'm going to say about that subject is, when you're on somebody else's platform, the worst thing you can do to me is whine about it and whine about the various different things, because it's not going to get anything changed, and it's not going to help you on your way of trying to set up a channel and various different things to throw remarks out there about various different things. I don't get that. I try to pull together what resources I have, try to stay within the confines and the rules of what's going on, and keep it going. Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah. I have noticed, though, on my subscriber base or subscription base, either one, the channels that I subscribe to, or I've noticed on the side chat of the main part of the channel, when that comes up, you used to have at any one time one or two little red signals there that would say somebody's going live. I do know in the morning, in the afternoon, and the evening, there, on my side anyway, there must be at least a dozen, if not a dozen and a half, channels that are all live now. And I can understand that. A lot of people are striving for watch time and whatnot, and I understand that, and some of them are having a great time at it. It's just chit-chat and getting together, and there's not a thing wrong with that. I don't find anything wrong with hardly anything other than, like you say, whining. The whining and the negativity stuff and like that on a stream and stuff, I have a hard time with that, and you won't find that here. If you do, I guarantee you they'll be exiting very quickly. Especially if Christy gets involved with it there. She's got a big old frying pan, and when you get hit on that frying pan, you get knocked off for a bit, you get knocked up. If you come to your senses and wake up and see things right, you'll probably be back on the channel, but about the second or third time she hits you with that fry pan, I think you're going to be out for the count. Oh. Yeah, a lot of them. Uh-oh, here comes the fry pan. Hey, is that my breakfast in there frying? Looks like a nice egg sunny side up. They sure do. Oh. Yeah, that's the trouble is it's cast iron. The irony of the whole thing with Christy and the fry pan there, she shouldn't have any, she's going to kill me for this, I guarantee it, but she shouldn't have any food in there because most of her fry pans and stuff like that are very, okay, get ready. I'll duck when she starts throwing this fry pan. It's very well unused, let's put it that way. I'm not going to say anything else. Oh. Yeah, it's season. Yeah, it stays seasoned. Let's put it this way. Once it gets seasoned, she'll never have to season it again. I'm not saying she's a bad cook or doesn't cook an awful lot, but let's put it this way. Most appliances that come through the kitchen are usually worn out microwaves and toaster ovens. How's that? Oh. I know, babe. She does cook a mean pizza roll. You ought to see her. She has style and grace, and I'll tell you, slicing that bag open and dumping them on that sheet, kind of spreading them around. She's got that technique down, right down pat. Gets them nice and crispy. Oh. Yeah, I better get off that subject. I'll be in big trouble. Ugh. Coffee is not the best today. My coffee ability making is, I'm so up and down. I don't, it's a two cup coffee pot. Actually, it's a 5-cup, they say, but it makes 2 of these cups, and this is only a little over 12 ounces, I'd say. But the trouble is with it, the scoop that's used and stuff, if you have it rounded and if you're half asleep, I try to make it the night before, but, it's either weak or strong. I can never get it just right, seems like. Oh. I'm not a big Hot Pocket person when it comes to... I've made some homemade style Hot Pockets, almost like kind of like calzone type stuff with doughs and whatnot. I love that. But as far as the Hot Pockets that you buy in the store, the filling isn't bad. The crust is a weird crust to me. It's almost like it's not... I don't know. It's something strange. Good morning. How you doing, Dave? How's things going for you, Dave, this morning? You got biscuits and gravy going for the kids yet? Prefers takeout to frozen foods. I know that's true. Actually, you prefer to be taken out to eat instead. Oh. Ah, bananas. One of my favorite vegetables. Vegetables. Fruits. In fact, I've got one sitting right here. Oh. Grapes and bananas is probably one of my favorite fruits as far as eating any amount of. I like all fruits, actually, just about, but grapes and bananas. A good ripe peach. One of those peaches that are so ripe that, you know, you almost have to get into the bathtub to eat. That's the type of peach I like. Most of the peaches you get out of the store are rock hard, and, you know, you got to put them on a shelf somewhere to get ripened up. And then the trouble is, you know, they're like pears, on the same idea as pears. You buy a hard pear in the store, and it's rock hard for 3 weeks, and all of a sudden, you know, the last day you checked it was a day before, and it's still hard, and then you check it 1 or 2 days later, and all of a sudden it's gone from rock hard to you can put your finger through it, you know, in the course of 24 hours. Well, that's easy to do. You know, I don't know how many kids you've got, but grapes are good for you, and it doesn't take long. It's almost like eating popcorn. You just kind of pop them in your mouth and go for it. You're right, Steve. Juicy the better. Wow. Did he have them outside, or were they in like a high tunnel or something like that too? 3 kids. Yeah, well, they can go through a package of grapes pretty fast. And they're good for them too. My granddaughters are, Libby likes a little bit of, she loves grapes and a little bit of fruit here and there. Mariah, no fruit. She doesn't like any fruits, and her vegetables are pretty limited. She has a texture thing that she has a problem with as far as eating things and stuff. It's got to feel right in her mouth. If it doesn't, you know, she could love the flavor of whatever it is. Like, she loves strawberries flavors, but she can't eat strawberries. The seeds in her mouth, she doesn't like it. Now, if you take your strawberries and put them through a sieve, and you make a syrup or a juice or something out of them or something, she'll suck that right down. But if it's got seeds in it, you might as well forget about it. Right outside on the lawn, I can't. Wow, he must have to really wrap that thing up tight, because I know that's cold country up there too. What's the ratio, Dave? Boys, girls, 2 boys and a girl, all girls, all boys? You got that right, Alan. Although I do enjoy a piece of candy every now and then, but I do like a good piece of fruit that's nice and sweet and ripened just right. Yeah, it satisfies me just as much as candy does. Stone fruits. Stone fruits, you meaning like peaches and not pears, but peaches and plums and like that? They don't grow well down there? I watch a channel from down that way. I can't think of his name right now off the top of my head. I should. His name is Mark. Has a channel, large channel. You probably guys know him. He has quite a bit of fruit trees and stuff, and does quite well. Somebody else me out. The gentleman that has a large channel from Australia there. His name is Mark. He has a lot of raised gardens and stuff. Boy, I can't remember. I hope he's not watching because he's going to kill me for not remembering his name. I'll have to look it up and get it in my next chat. Bama Grits, good morning. How you doing? Fig trees. Now I love fig. Are they going to do well in your neck of the woods there, Jason? How are you doing this morning, Bama? You get your coffee or tea or your morning drink going and... Yeah, I love a ripe pear. Like I was saying before, you buy pears around here and they're so rock hard, and if you don't keep an eye on them while you got them setting out trying to soften them up, 24 hours they could go from rock hard to so soft that you put your fingers through them and they're on their way to the compost pile. There's got to be a pear ripening fairy out there that's got a bad sense of humor that just, is just lurking over those pears. So when you're not at least expecting it here, they just tap it a little bit and say, gone by. When they get exported like that, they're pretty much greenish anyways, aren't they? So by the time they get here, they port the old gases to them, and they start to ripen up and hit our shelves. Now, the different fig trees, Jason, I know there's different trees for different zones and stuff. How about the fruit that comes off of them, the figs themselves? Are they all different from the various different trees in the different areas? Or are they pretty much the same? We're all over the place, Bama. We are everything from building porches and wood to fruits and vegetables and breakfast and all kinds of stuff. We're just in a chit-chat here and having a good old time. Don't be afraid to chime right in with what other subject we want to get going here. Pretty much the same? All right. Yeah. I haven't made them in a long time, but way back I used to make a pretty mean, kind of like a fudge brown, not fudge, a fig bar-like, sort of like a fig Newton-y type thing, but it had just a solid crust on the bottom with a good half-inch to 3/8 of an inch of 3/8 to half inch of the fig filling with another top on top with the crust and stuff. Eat them more like a fig bar, but I love those. And they're good for you. Figs are pretty good for you. I mean, they're high in sugar, but there's so much other things good. It kind of balances that out for you. And the roughage that's in it, in figs and stuff, kind of balances the sugars out for you. The carbs, I should say, in the sugars. Yeah, just don't talk about Christy's cooking because we've had enough frying pans flying around, and my scalp has very limited to a space for it to hit that doesn't have a lump on it. So don't mention cooking around her. Good morning, Bandana. How you doing, Grammy? Or Grandma? What's going on with you? What's cooking? Now, there's a woman you can ask what's cooking right there. I guarantee you she's got something going on in the kitchen. Ah, that's a good balance going there, Jason. Ah, very good. Any of that going to be going live today? I know you've been doing quite a bit of live stream. Everybody's been getting into live stream. I watch a lot of, like I've said before, I watch a lot of different channels and stuff, and I try to get all of them watched that come in my emails. And of course, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's kind of impossible to watch everybody's all the time, but I do a little binge watching every now and then, and I may not make any comments all the time, but it doesn't mean I haven't watched a video. I'll tell you that, because lots of times, either in the live chat or in another video or a comment that I may be making, or if they watch my channel and make a comment and I answer them, lots of times I'll answer their comments and stuff with something to do with one of the videos that I've watched in the past. Excuse me. Ah, there you go. Always got to get a little peek of something else that you're doing, huh, Ben? Grandma? Do you like being on live stream? Do you like being called your channel name, or would you rather me have a nickname or a first name for you? I'm trying to write those down so I can remember that type of thing. It kind of goes over, to me in live chat, it goes over a little bit better. It's totally up to you. Your choice. Have a good one, Alan. Thanks for stopping in, and as always, your support is always welcome and much appreciative. You have yourself a good day. Thank you, Bama. I have always forget that. If you have 15 supporters in your live chat, you should have at least 15 thumbs up there. So I know we only got 8 in here right now, but hey, if you haven't hit that thumbs up button, do me a favor, help me out, help the channel out, and hit that old thumbs up button there. I always say it's like the old cartoons where, one of the cartoon figures would hit their thumb with a hammer and that thumb would throb. I'd like to get a little emotio or whatever you call it there to put up there that's throbbing, like a throbbing thumb that's been smashed and being hit. But don't forget to hit that thing for me, please. All right, I'll remember that. Bandana. One of those words it kind of comes off the tongue and lips a little, you got to think about it before you say it. No, it's not. I use OBS bandana. I understand what you're saying. Sometimes it's not a matter of pronouncing it. Sometimes you get, in my experience, you get a little bit of tongue-tied and whatnot. I have a tendency my brain is working just a hair bit faster than my mouth, and sometimes that gets me in trouble, and sometimes the words will come out missing a letter or a syllable here and there and stuff. So sometimes I got to slow my brain down to catch up with my mouth. I wish you could do that. It's almost like on when you're doing videos and stuff, and when your voice and audio and video get out of sync back and forth with each other. I wish you could do that with your mouth and stuff. Just have a little button you could push, but hey, in my case, it's a little hard to do. Unless you're making banana pudding. Oh. Yeah, I love bananas too. Yeah, yeah. Well, my equipment isn't the best in the world, Bandana. Uh, I have the bare bones, everything. And if it wasn't for chicken wire and baling wire, a little bit of duct tape, and various different things and stuff, even to electrical tape. Like I got electrical tape holding something earlier today. That's part of everything. Trying to keeping things together and stuff. And like I say, I'm pretty new at this live stream. I'm actually new at YouTube itself. I took off about 6 or 7 months there, and had some equipment problems and various different things and stuff, and broke a few things here and there, dropped things and whatnot. So I'm trying to get back in it. I'm trying to get a live stream together, and like you, I'm going to try to do some short. I don't want long ones, but I want to do some short little live cooking videos and stuff. Maybe throwing short little recipes together, or maybe just doing not so much the cooking recipe itself, maybe different techniques from different recipes and stuff. There's a lot of new people that aren't into cooking that much, and a lot of that type of thing is what scares them off from doing homemade cooking, is learning some of the different techniques to do things. It's not the actual recipe or the ingredients that's scaring them off. It's the how-to, and I'd like to more or less emphasize on the how-to and not just the recipe itself. So I'm hoping I can get some of that done. I got a lot on my plate to do various different things. I've got the Yardbirds going, and I've got a schedule with them, and going to try to get some chicks going and stuff. So we got a lot going on. Yeah, Nana pudding coming out of the south. Don't forget the what is it? Nilla wafers. The Nilla wafers. Got to have those with banana pudding. You can't go into your phone and adjust your text size, Bandana. Yeah, you're very right on that. Yeah. The only thing you have a hard time messing up, I mean, not hard time messing up, you can't mess with a lot, is a lot of the baking. Baking comes down to more of a science, because you're working with products like Livn agents and baking sodas and baking powders and yeast and stuff. And those are all, you got to you got a little bit of leadway there, but there's a certain amount of chemistry involved in there to have the product come out right. Now, the flavors and all the things you put in with those and stuff, is a little bit different. But you take the flour, the leavening agents, whether it be baking soda, baking powder, yeast, or whatever it is, or even fluffed up egg whites or anything to get something to rise and have air in it. Those are the types of things that you can't fool with too much. If not, you're going to end up with a pancake for a cake or whatever. Oh, I thought I had read something in there. You had a smartphone in there. Oh, no, I'm sorry, iPad Mini. I just saw iPad there, and I just thinking my brain said iPhone. The minute I see the I and the P, and I'm thinking iPhone. So I understand what you're saying. Yeah. 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 And even more than measurements, well, it's a type of measurement. If you have some recipes, especially from different countries and different areas with various different humidity levels and stuff. And if it's especially bread, when it comes to a lot of flours and stuff, 1 cup of flour can mean anywhere from a quarter to a third of cup off just from humidity. So that's why a lot of your bakeries, your big bakeries that do a lot of baking and stuff, they all weigh things. And that's exactly why, because you can take 10 bags of flour, line them up, take a cup of flour out of each one, and weigh them all, and they're all off. So if they're off a little bit, it's going to throw your recipe off a little bit. So in order to be consistent, you need to be weighing a lot of your products. And I don't mean to get technical in it, but if you have a particular recipe that you're having problem with, especially cakes and cakes and stuff, especially cupcakes, cakes, muffins, and stuff like that, and you're having problem with it, usually the problems come down, and it has something to do with the flour. You're putting too much or not enough or whatever. If you get in the habit of measuring things, certain recipes will come out, almost the same every time for you, and it's a lot better. Yeah, exactly, Bandana. We're on the same page here. I understand exactly. Yeah, 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 yeah. You see a lot of people when you're looking for sifted flours. You see a lot of people putting all their ingredients in a bowl and then using a whisk, and that's not bad. It does get it a little bit lighter and stuff. But the whole idea from sifted flour is to aerate it a little bit. You'll find almost all your cake recipes will come out better if you sift your flour once or even twice, along with your leavening agent in it. It will make the batter a lot airier. And a lot of people don't realize a lot of bakeries aren't using their flours, that they're not using like an all-purpose flour for cakes and stuff. A lot of people think that you've got all-purpose flour, and then you've got various different bread flours and hard flours and stuff. But there's many other flours. There's actually a cake flour out there that you can get, and it's a little more expensive. But most of your bakeries and stuff use a cake flour, which is a lot airier anyways and a lot lighter. And that's why your bakery cakes usually a little bit different than your home cakes and stuff. Although I like a home cake myself. I like a little bit more firmness, as long as it's moist, anyways. If that makes sense to you. And I find when you buy 10 and 20-pound bags of flour, like you say, as far as lighter and light, the bigger poundage flour you make, the tighter the flour granules are down in that bag. So when you scoop up a cup of that compacted flour, sometimes you might have as much as a cup and a third in that 1 cup just because it's packed. Yeah, it's a little bit better. Dill bread, but can't find the rye flour. I love rye bread. That's the trouble with a lot of dark breads. I'm not considering like whole wheat bread, dark breads. But you take that. My favorite bread of all time, and I've made it once, but it's hard to find. Is a good pumpernickel. I like a nice dark pumpernickel, very dark. It's got that I mean, to me, when you're making a sandwich especially, and you're using ingredients that have very mild flavors like a ham and cheese or something like that, and the flavors are very mild, you take a dark pumpernickel or something like that, lightly toasted with some homemade butter on it or a little bit of mayo and whatnot. And all right, Christy, she's on her way. Don't be doing a lot of typing on your way to work this morning either. I know you're there, but don't be doing a lot of texting. I want the people out there to be safe. I want you to be safe. I don't want to hear any big pileups up there about somebody texting somebody's live stream. So I will talk to you in a bit there, hon. Drive safe. Anyways, back to what I was talking about with the darker breads. I love a pumpernickel, a nice black pumpernickel, and it really will take a sandwich to the next level when you're talking milder ingredients and toasting of those types of breads. Because you take the darker breads and you give it you don't want to toast them very much because they're a little on the drier side, but some nice creamy butter and lightly toast them. Ham and cheese toasted sandwich is great on a pumpernickel. Good morning, Liz. How you doing? That's great. Any way you want to support, that's fine. I thank you for coming in. Yeah, you hit a a touchy subject with me, Jason from Kentucky Homesteader. Fennel seeds. Fennel seeds and anise seeds and stuff like that. Those are the two products that I cannot take. I don't like them in breads. I don't like them in sausages. Excuse me. My breathing isn't the best this morning, but especially sausages. You take a nice sausage like an Italian sausage, whether it be hot or mild, and you take the fennel seeds and stuff. I don't want to bite into a fennel seed that my sausage starts tasting like black licorice. Yeah, that's what I was trying to think of, black licorice. To me, that throws sausage right off. I know some people like it and whatnot, and that's great. If you like it, hey, by all means, dig right in. But when I've made sausage in the past, fennel seed and anise seeds does not go in my sausages or any other product, especially breads, whole grain breads and stuff. Two canners on the go. Pressure canners, or are we doing water bass? Redneck Beauty, how you doing? Howdy to you too. The conversation is all over the place today. We've got everything from bread making to building porches to all kinds of stuff. So what you going to be cooking today, Bandana? Or are you going to make me tune in today and find out? My morning is great. I'm doing great. It's the day after my birthday, and like I said earlier, I got up this morning and checked the paper. Under the obituary listings, I wasn't listed there, so I decided to make myself a cup of coffee and have a live stream this morning. Preserving dog food. All right. Pressure treating dog food. I hear a lot of that going on now, doing the dog food, cutting the cost down on that. Well, I thank you very much. Thank you, Liz. I'm the big 3-0, or, I turned big 3-0 yesterday. Okay. Maybe I've turned the big 3-0 a couple times, but, or once or twice, or let's just leave it at that. That's a good way of putting it there, Liz. Oh. Ah. Yeah, I know what those are. That's one of those recipes. If you just call it stuffed cabbage, that rolls and stuff that around Poland and Russia and various different places here and there and stuff. They call it different all over the place and stuff, but what it comes down to, it's basically some type of filling, various different everything from rice and veggies and meats to whatever in it, and some of them are cooked with or without tomato sauces and whatnot. I love cabbage rolls of probably pretty much made any way. My favorite probably is almost like a cross between an Italian sauce that's very chunky with, believe it or not, chunks of pepperoni. You cube up pepperoni and cook it in your sauce for a little bit. It brings out that nice heat in the pepperoni and nice flavor. Spoon that over some cabbage rolls and bake it in the oven. And it's kind of I'll catch up with my mouth in a minute. Those kinds of recipes really I like a lot. Ends and skis. So you're in the pierogies and the various different things. I love Polish stuff. I'm gonna have to get on here sometime and do some Polish sausage. Make a nice blend of Polish sausage up. Yeah, that's another one. Stuffed peppers. I love stuffed peppers too. Yeah, yeah. Now, do you put rice in a lot of your various different stuffings for cabbages and green peppers and stuff? I don't mind a little rice in it. My favorite is actually is just a lot of veggies mixed with the meat. Like I love mushrooms. You take chopped up, instead of slicing them, chop them up so they kind of mix in with the ground beef or the meat product and stuff a little better. But peppers and onions and mushrooms, all kinds of veggies and stuff go good in that. Diced carrots, as long as they're pre-cooked a little bit, I like those. Yeah. The only trouble I have with cooking and when you mention stretching foods and stuff, and you start getting into stretching foods and good tasting foods. Usually, when you start stretching your foods, you're starting to add a lot of other products to a particular recipe or something, and they all taste great. And you're adding a little bit of extra calories here and there, and that word stretching goes from the recipe to the waistline all of a sudden pretty quick. I'm an expert at that, I'll tell you that. I have no problem stretching my belts and my clothes. Yeah, I do the same thing. The trouble here, I live with my son and daughter-in-law and their my two grandkids, and I love to cook. My daughter-in-law loves to cook and loves vegetables and all kinds of things. I love vegetables and all kinds of things. The trouble is, my son does not like vegetables that much, especially onions and various different things. And I think that's where my one of my granddaughters gets the texture thing from and whatnot. So a lot of the recipes that I like to come up with, I'll make a good size recipe, and then I end up dividing it up and freezing it, because the only people who are going to eat a lot of the stuff that I make is myself or my daughter-in-law. She loves a lot of different recipes, so we go from there. Yeah, that's a great way. I do the same thing with some of my dishes that my son likes. Like my son loves chili and various different dishes like that, and I love it too. But I like a chunky chili, or at least a flavorful chili with the onions and the peppers and and all that kind of thing. And I will usually saute up the green peppers and onions and whatever else I'm going to be putting in there that I know he's not going to like. Once they're sauteed, like you say, you throw it in a blender, or we've got one of those little bullet blenders that are really quick. Throw a couple cups of that right in there, maybe just a little bit of water to make sure she make a nice little smoothie out of it, dump it back into the chili, and I still rather have the chunks of vegetables in there, but at least you got the flavor there. Yeah, exactly. He's at my grandson, my son, the same way. If he can't see it, he loves it. But some things it's a little harder to do that in. Like he loves. I like to make chicken pot pies, or what I call casserole pies, where the filling all goes into a casserole or a square oblong pan, and you line the top with biscuits and bake them off, or pour a batter of cornbread over the top and bake it off. The way he likes it is basically meat and gravy. That type of dish, I like to have a few garden peas in there, a little bit of chopped carrots, onion, a little bit of mushroom and whatnot. But he would never eat it like that. And on that particular dish, I don't like blending the product all up and putting it in there. For one thing, it's usually the gravy is usually a lighter gravy. So sometimes, depending on what you're putting in there, sometimes your gravy almost kind of comes out kind of greenish, and then all of a sudden it's on the shoe's on the other foot. It doesn't look appetizing to me. Oh, you got to have some veggies in that meatloaf. As much as I like just plain meatloaf, redneck. I've got to have some onions and a little bit of peppers in there anyways. But hey, it's to each his own. It's you're eating your meatloaf and I'm eating my meatloaf, and that's the way I always portray that on any of my recipes and my videos and stuff. Hey, you guys are out there doing your cooking. You guys cook it the way you guys want to eat it. Good morning, Homestead Minimalist. That's not going to be a good word for me. Yeah, Les. Do you have a nickname or a first name I can call you? I know they're redneck. I do enjoy that though. I like taking you take like ground beef, ground veal, sausage, all ground together and stuff with your spices and stuff. Yeah, it makes a great meatloaf. I do agree with you. Now, if I'm reading that right, that's a grain, correct? Ah. Well, so if you put some onions in there and not counting that, you don't mind dicing a little bit of green pepper in there, just or a little bit of of chili pepper or something like that in there, dicing that up in there a little bit too, then, huh? Yeah. You are probably like me, Bandana. You get up in the morning, if you had cold meatloaf in the refrigerator, you'd probably be having that for breakfast. I love that. Thank you, Teresa. I'm going to have to write that down. I usually have a page that I write things down on, and I am missing it, and missing it badly. Let me write that down. Minimalist. Is the, I don't know exactly how to pronounce that, but that, quinoa, that's a grain, right? Yeah, quinoa. That's what I was trying to think of. Quinoa. That is a grain. That's what I thought. Yeah. That started coming into the picture, in great numbers back, what are we in, 2018? Back about 10, 12 years ago, that really hit the scene. A lot of people throwing that in for proteins and stuff. I believe that all came from and started from the African area in around that way and stuff. They've been eating that stuff for years and getting a lot of their protein, the proteins from it and stuff. I'm not a big fan of it. I've had it in some like stir-fry dishes and whatnot. If you can get enough stuff in with it, mixed in with it, it's not bad. It's sort of like rice to me. Rice is a great grain, and I love it, but I've got to have other things with it. I've got to have the other seasonings and other things mixed in with it, whether it be a fried or a boiled or a steamed. I got to have other flavors there. And it's the same way as the quinoa. I got to have other things with it. All right there, Jason. You have a good day now. Stay safe. Thanks for the support. Yeah, I don't know if I found it a bit bitter. Maybe it's just the different ways of cooking it and stuff and whatnot. But I find it a bit bland. That's the way I should put it. Like a rice, is bland. It needs other things to go along with it. I missed you there, Noah's Ark. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate it. Good morning to you. Noah's Ark. I'll have to write that one down, too. You don't mind being called Vicky on live stream there, Noah's? My sister's name is Vicky. Spelt a little different. It's Vicki, the way she spells it, but hey, it still sounds the same. Oh, well, I misread that. Who are you calling Vicky, Bandana? I'll have to write in Jamie on that. A lot of names to try to remember. I appreciate each and every one of you coming in, though. I enjoy it very much. The support is very much appreciative. Jamie. Thank you for the correction, Jamie. I must say the conversation this morning has been uplifting and all over the place. We started off building porches in various different woods with Jason over at Kentucky Homestead, and we've gone from there full circle to cooking to we talked a little bit of chickens here and there, and so I'm glad I ain't the only one confused, Bandana. Ah. If you hit a pothole, you must be somewhere northeast or somewhere where you get the weather of snow, ice, freezing rain, and all that, and makes potholes and freezing in the rain and stuff, freezing in the ground and defrosting. And we have potholes up here in Maine so big it would swallow your car right up. Bev's another one of those great channels. Our Half Acre Homestead. I love following her stuff around and Howie's little section of the videos sometimes there. I haven't done and saw enough of her videos lately. I've got to I got to remember to go over there a little bit more often. You know, once you start doing your own creation and various stuff, I find it harder and harder to get to everybody's videos and stuff. It's amazing what they can get done on such a small property. Well, at least we got that corrected. It's one of the reasons why I have to write things down, Bandana. I'm not saying you have to write things down, but boy, I'll tell you, I've got a piece of paper going down through as I'm doing my live stream lately, and it comes in handy. The trouble is, I've got to get it all transferred over onto another sheet of paper in order, because if I don't do it fairly soon, I can't read my own handwriting. I don't know if anybody else has that problem out there, but I have a problem reading my own handwriting sometimes. I think I've got part doctor in me. I think what is the whole problem is. Just don't call her Vicky, Bandana, when it's time for dinner bell going off, because she's not going to respond to it. She's going to be the one that's sitting out there on the porch, and everybody else is chowing down in the dining room, and she didn't hear her name being called that dinner was ready. All right, Redneck, thanks for stopping in. Hey, don't forget to pick up some peppers and a little veggies for that meatloaf there. You have yourself a good day. Thanks for the support there, girl. It's been a pleasure. If you're going clearance shopping, don't forget to bring the truck. Take care, Redneck. I'm sure there was a Vicky out there somewhere in the chat there, Bandana. It was probably somebody out there that wasn't in the chat or anything, but she was watching, and she was sitting back wondering, how'd she know my name? Can she see me? Good morning, Vicky. Here's a Vicky right here. Victoria over at Maine Homestead Project. How you doing this morning? All you got to do is say Vicky Bandana and one shows up right here. How's your sap running this morning, Vicky? I'll tell you, ours is running slow. I got maybe a half a 5-gallon bucket out there on each on 2 different taps. Well, there's 2 or 3 different taps in each one, but they're running into 2 different 5-gallon buckets, I should say. Yeah, I didn't realize, you talk about chats rolling down fast. I don't have that problem of chats rolling fast because my stream's pretty small. But, you know, I appreciate each and every one of you. But, you know, I imagine and I'm hoping it's going to grow after a while. But I didn't realize you could go into the settings and actually slow your chat down so it doesn't roll by so quick. And I don't think some of the channels out there that are big realize that, because I've gone to some of the larger channels and you can't keep up with anything. It just rolls down through so fast. But enough of Gary's coffee. Oh. Yeah. I would say you need an awful lot of mods for that too. And speaking of mods, I need a few mods here and there and stuff. If I happen to click on you and you don't want to be a mod, don't feel insulted and just give me a holler and tell me, heck no. Because I have very few moderators in here, and I really need a few. Thank you, Bandana, very much. Channel is pretty small still, but I'm hoping it's going to grow. Like I've told everybody else, I'd like to try to get some themed style chats out there, and pick a topic and try to stick to it. Try to stick to it. You know, any of these live streams are going to drift off here and there and stuff, off topic and whatnot. But just, you know, something to keep the ball rolling. Let's put it that way. Ah. Yeah, I'm a mod on a few other channels here and there, and I've gotten used to that, and not afraid to hit the button every now and then. You know, some people just need a little bit of a timeout. You know, they might be a fairly decent person. Maybe said something a little racy or something like that, and maybe, well, I'm not going to mention any names, but somebody might have been hitting the mountain juice or the mountain beverage a little bit too much, and said something, and but they're always usually welcome back. Let's put it that way. If that makes any sense to you out there. Any snowstorms. Oh, I wish that was a policy that I could cash in and around here. My snowblower gets plenty of use here. Oh, thank you, Bandana. I really wasn't fishing for that, but I mean, I'll be glad to help anybody when I can. Yeah, we've done that many times before. Go overboard, fill the tub up with water, get 5-gallon buckets and all kinds of stuff. Make a mess in the house, getting ready to lose the power and never lose the power. And it could be one of the worst snowstorms, wet storm, wind blowing, never lose the power whatsoever. And then all of a sudden you get a little tiny rainstorm with a little bit of wind in behind it, and all of a sudden you lose the power for 3 days. Excuse me, let me get this phone, guys. Hold on just for a second. Oh, there, I am back. I'm glad I got up to... I have 2 different lines up here. I have, like I said before, my room is, I built over the garage, and so I have my phone and then have a downstairs phone on a separate line, but I have both phones up here too, and because I take care of my granddaughters and whatnot. So anyways, I happened to go by the window, and I got a couple guineas on the loose out here. I don't mind them getting around. If you don't have something roofed over, you're not going to keep a guinea in anyways. But I heard some squawking out there, and I happened to notice a hawk going by, and it kept on a-going. So, all right, what did I miss? Yeah, we did the same thing, Vicky, from Maine Homestead Project back in October. There, we were out. It was either 5. We were out a little more than 5 days. I think we were out either 6 or 7. But we do have a small generator to use to help keep the freezers and refrigerators going, and switch it over to the water pump, because the water pump is 220 and whatnot. So we can keep things moderately going. It's still an inconvenience to lose the power, but it helps. Let's see here. See what back here. Get some caught up some stuff here. I'm terrible at getting caught up here. I wish there was a button I could press and it would tell me verbally in audio, tell me the chat when I press on. Yeah, I'm getting lazy. Oh, let's see. Yeah, I hear you, Bandana. It's a process, let's put it this way. I've had OBS for a long time, ever since I started my channel. I didn't think I was going to even do any live streams until we started to get this demonetization stuff in, and it does give you a little bit more watch time quickly. And now that I've got it, I'm kind of glad I did, because I'm gonna, put it into my regular programming and stuff eventually here. But there's very little I know. I mean, I'm learning as I go. The best thing I can tell you, Bandana, is hit some of the tutorials up and stuff. There's some good tutorials on OBS, and there's some bad ones. I mean, you can sometimes watch, somebody's, and by the time that you watch the whole thing, you haven't learned a thing. And I think some of those guys that do some of those tutorials, that's exactly what they're doing. They're not trying to mix you up, but trying to get you to the point where to go take you to the next video that you haven't learned anything on the first, or you've learned just enough to click on that next video, and it takes you 4 days to figure out how to do one little thing. Those types of videos, it's kind of hard to stay away from. There's quite a few guys out there that do some tutorials on OBS, and I'm slowly but surely getting it somewhere. Thank you, Vicky, for the happy belated birthday. Like I've been telling everybody, I'm 39. Just call me Jack Benny. If I've missed something important there, I've read up through chat, and I'm having a hard time. Did we have a loss in here? I don't want to miss a loss. I want to make sure that prayers go out to something like that. I couldn't find it, but... Okay, there we go, Vicky. I'm sorry to hear that, Vicky. Like I said, prayers go out to you and your family. Help you through that situation of losing your father. I lost my father many years ago, and I know it's a stressful situation. Prayers and go out to you. Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of them out there, Bandana. Once you find a creator or of a tutorial, I should say, and you find one that you like, stop right then and there before you even do anything. Look up that guy's name, load his channel in, go back through and see. Some of them only have one or two, but find one that has a bunch of them in there on various different subjects, and if you're comfortable with that particular person, the way he teaches you and stuff, hey, don't lose it. Click on it, sub his channel, and go from there, because there's 2 or 3 out there that do a pretty good job. Thank you for keeping me up there, Bandana, with Vicky's dad there. I finally found it back in there. Yeah, I don't know about you in tutorials, Bandana, but I have a low tolerance for somebody that's trying to do a tutorial that I call them shoestring tutorials, where somebody will have 40 videos on one subject, and each tutorial they just kind of tag you along a little bit and keep you interested, and just to give you enough information, take you to the next one, take the next one, like that, when they could have put a lot more information in it. And it's not all about getting the view time and stuff, and the viewers and stuff. It's to me, it's all tutorials all about teaching. And if they're good at it and they do a good job, people are going to come back and they're going to get the views and all that stuff without having to drag people along with, a half a dozen tutorials and turn it into 50 tutorials, if that makes any sense to you. You're exactly right, Jamie. I'm not a good teacher, I'll tell you, at all. I learn stuff and I learn it slow, and once I learn it, it's stuck in my head and it's very good and stuff. I wish I was a better teacher, because I would when I find things that I know other people would like to do, it's hard to come across and get that out to somebody. But I don't mind sending them on their way and trying to steer them in the right directions. Maybe I'll do a little bit of a tutorial on 3 or 4 different people that I get information from that I use, and give them a little bit of a boost at the same time. And I'll put that in my little book of things to do. And believe me, that's not a little book. My things to do is like that. I have all these ideas. You hit that exactly right, Bandana. Their time is our wasted time, or their view time is our wasted time. Yeah. Thank you, babe. I'm glad you got in there, told me you was at work. Now, the question is, okay? Now listen to this question now. The question is, did you look in your rear view mirror on the way to work? And I know you weren't in any accidents on your way because you made it to work, but how many accidents were in the rear view mirror after? I shouldn't say that. I'm going to get hit with the frying pan again. Oh, you have a good day at work, babe. Oh. Take care of that back. Hopefully you brought a heating pad with you for your office chair today. She probably didn't, but, she's been having a lot of problem with her back. I'm going to get a lot of flack for those remarks, I'll tell you that. And believe me, I don't have much real estate on top of this head here that doesn't have any lumps in it already, for that frying pan. Plenty of Advil, no heating pad. Ah. Oh. All right, Vicky, you have yourself a good day. Like I said, I'm sorry to hear about your father, and all our prayers going out to you and your family. You have yourself a good day, or as good a day as you can have in a situation like that. Trust me. Take care now. Oh. Well, I think I'm going to have to cut it on out of here right off here and get some things done myself. It's been a pleasure. I want to thank everybody for coming out and supporting me. I love the chit-chat. We've covered a lot of different topics. I want to thank special thanks to Bandana Grammy for coming over. And thanks for being a monitor for me. And like I said before, all you guys out there are... Oh, thank you, Jamie. All you guys out there are great support, I'll tell you. I can use all right now. I could use all the support I could get as far as watch time goes. I hate to ask people to watch videos and all those kinds of things and stuff. But until I get my monetization back and stuff like that, I'm gonna kind of push it a little bit. I do have a playlist there that if you play anything in the background while maybe you're doing housework or cooking or whatever like that, and you happen to click on that, it'll play a few different videos to get a little bit of extra watch time in there. I appreciate that. But I'm definitely not going out of my way to ask you guys to do it and whatnot. So your support, each and every one of you, is much, much appreciative, and I want to thank you for coming out. Let me read this one thing. Yeah, I hear you there on bad luck. I'll tell you, I had a 6th or 7th month period there where I lost a lot of equipment, broke cameras, had a computer that burnt up on me, all kinds of stuff, and that stopped me from doing a lot of videos and stuff. But hopefully we're back on track to get things done. And like I said before, I want to thank each and every one of you for your support. It means a lot, and it's very, very much appreciative. So anyways, with that said, until next time, guys, wherever you are in your neck of the woods, be it morning, noon, or night, I hope you're all having a great one. Take care now, and God bless.